Welcome to More Than Our Story, where we strive to inspire by sharing our stories. I'm Daniel Height, and today I'm joined by Rob Sears, a blind triathlete, content creator, sports therapist, personal trainer, and coach based in Norwich, UK. Rob, welcome to the show.
Daniel, thank you for having me. That was a great introduction as well.
You're so welcome. So immediately, let's just get to yesterday. You were volunteering at the swim exit for the Norwich Triathlon. That's put on by the Trianglia Triathlon Club. Is that your and your wife's local triathlon club?
It is, yeah. They're the local club, and yeah, it's something nice to give back to your club and community that support you. So we like to get involved and helping people out of the swim exit. Although I was given a big sweeper brush to sweep stones off the red carpet, so people were telling me where to stand, and I was brushing as they told me. It's great. Yeah, it's great fun. Nice little event.
Good day overall?
It was, yeah, quite warm. There was about 500 people in total, and all went well. Really good.
Excellent. So as I mentioned in the introduction, Rob, you have a visual impairment. Could you share a little bit about that condition and maybe when you first started noticing some symptoms?
Yeah, so I have choroideremia, and the new diagnosis of that was only given to me in October last year. I went for genetic testing at Moorfields in London, the eye hospital, and I was filming a video about retinitis pigmentosa because that's what I'd been told that I had before. That's what I'd always been told, my family had been told. And I went to the hospital to film content of why other people with RP should go and get genetic testing. And then it turned out that the professor looked a little confused with what he was seeing from my results. And he said, "Rob, I don't think you've got RP at all. I think you might have something completely different," which was obviously a massive shock at the time. And we had to wait a year for the results of the genetic testing. But I got them October last year, and yeah, it's choroideremia. So it's a genetic eye disease, which is very similar to retinitis pigmentosa. So my eyesight has been deteriorating from the peripheral to the inside. So I have a small amount of sight, somewhere between 5 and 10 degrees of sight in the center. No one really knows for definite, but it's like looking through little straws. So if you can imagine that, or being in a tunnel, a long tunnel, and you can just see a little bit of light at the end, that's what it's like for me.
So being, I'm assuming this is progressive. How long do you think you have left until you have zero vision?
Oh, that is $1 million question. No one really knows. And because everybody feels these eye diseases differently, it could be tomorrow, it could be 10, 20, 30 years, there's no real answer. My thought process is, if I'm healthy, if I eat well, if I sleep well, if I don't do drugs, I don't smoke, I don't drink, if I look after myself, I'll keep what I've got for as long as I possibly can. But there's no guarantee that doing any of that stuff from before would make it worse. But for me personally, I just think if I live the best life I can, I've probably got the best shot possible of staying fit and healthy.
Makes a lot of sense. Are you prepared for that? Like, do you think about it at all?
I used to, but I think from the small amount that we know of each other, I'm not the kind of person that will just sit back and dwell on it. Life's too short. I've got too many cool things to go and do to be sitting around thinking, but what if I lose my sight completely? It is what it is. I mean, I think when I was younger, it is obviously I never drive. That was a big issue. At some point I'm not going to be able to do this. At some point I won't be able to see that. But at the moment, it's like, well, if I want to go and see something, I'll do everything I can to go and see it. If I want to do something, I'll do it, because we just don't know how much time we have left. So, yeah, we just go for it.
Speaking about that, I want to transition back to your athletic accomplishments. Were you always athletic growing up?
So funny story. When I was at high school, one of my PE teachers, the first parents' evening I had, my parents come up to the school, and my PE teacher said to my parents in front of me that I would never do anything in sport. You know, Rob tries hard. He loves sport, but he'll never do anything in sport. And I'm now almost 45, and I'm heavily involved in sport. I work in sport. I help other people in sport. I inspire people through what I do, and I love that. So I'm never going to be a gold medalist at the Paralympics, but I will never stop doing what I enjoy doing, and that's me. So yeah, I'm okay. I'm all right. I'm a fit guy, and I don't give up. But yeah, I've got big dreams, big goals. So we'll see what happens.
Speaking of those big goals, you were competing this year, 2 weeks ago, I believe, at Ironman European Championships in Hamburg.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, your guide Ant and you crashed after an apparent sabotage on the bike course that
yeah.
led to numerous DNFs. How long have you and Ant been racing together?
So we got together last year, so 2025, and we did 2 races in May of that year, and then we had some more races lined up later on in the year in July and August. But I had an accident in July, so that put pay to all the races last year. And so we'd already, before my accident, we'd already decided we were going to go for Ironman Hamburg in June. We're going to race a couple of races in Nottingham in the UK. It's a company called Outlaw. They do triathlons like Ironman do, but in the UK, so it's a different brand. And we're also booked to do another race in Nottingham, July, which we're doing in 5 weeks' time. So we'd already got these in place. So we kept those, but we haven't really raced a huge amount together. So to this date, we've done 4 races. Hamburg was our 5th, which unfortunately we didn't finish. But yeah, we're on to number 5. So number 6 is in 5 weeks' time.
So you were unfortunately one of those people who got a puncture on the bike that took you out of the race. But apparently it wasn't all bad news. You got to see your wife become an Ironman.
Absolutely. I mean, it was every cloud. So, like, when we go back to talking about me losing my sight, I always very much say, well, yeah, it's taken one thing, but it's given me something else. And yeah, it took a few hours for me to be okay with us not finishing the race. There were a lot of people also not finishing, and we kind of stuck together and sort of made the best of it we could. But we got transported back to the race village, and I was really concerned because I had no telephone, and we had no way of understanding how everyone was doing back at the race, the race headquarters. But also I had no idea what Lauren was doing, if she was okay. So I was waiting and waiting to see if we might see her on the bike course, but we didn't. So as soon as we got back to the village, Lauren's parents were there in Hamburg, and they found me. And I said, "Where's Lauren?" She said, "Oh, she's just done her first lap on the run." So that was great to be able to see my wife become an Ironman for the first time. It was incredible. It's very emotional, definitely, but it was great.
I couldn't imagine. My wife is about to do her first full in a few weeks, so I'm
Wow.
hoping to experience that too.
Yeah, it's immense. You're just so proud. Um, you're just happy that they've got through it unscathed, survived today, achieved what they thought they couldn't achieve. And that's great just to see her go for it. That was really cool.
So you vowed to return next year.
Hmm.
Any tune-up races planned already?
Yeah, so like I say, we're racing a full distance try in 5 weeks' time. So that's going to be in Nottingham. And then basically from Nottingham, Ant is racing in Barcelona. He's doing Ironman Barcelona by himself in October. So he's looking to go very quick there. I think sub 10 hours for a finish, which is very fast. So he's doing that in October. And then for me and him, it's going to be a lot about training and getting quicker. So we're coming back to Hamburg. This year it was about getting to the race and finishing it, whereas next year we get to the race but absolutely smash the race. So the winter is going to be head down training. We know what we need to work on. I know what I need to work on, and yeah, just going to get to it.
So I was actually on course with another blind triathlete 2 weeks ago in Rockford, 70.3. He had a sign around him and he was riding the tandem bike with his guide. And it got me thinking. I looked into the rule books and I couldn't find any rules or restrictions around tandem bikes. How similar are they, and have you customized yours at all?
So in terms of, I'm pretty sure in terms of the bike itself, it's a little bit like many competitions are. If you can afford to put in the fastest, biggest, best bike, that will be allowed. There's limitations on what you can add to it, so you can't have any electrical, any kind of e-bike components, because obviously that's cheating. But in terms of who can have the fastest wheels, who can have the lightest frame, who can have the strongest guides, as long as the guides are, well, for the UK in particular, male guide male, female guide female. I think for Ironman, I think the only caveat to that is as long as you swim, bike, run together, it's all okay. I'm not sure about the sex of the guide athlete, whether that has to be the same, but certainly in the GB competitions it is. But yeah, but in terms of best bike wins. That's kind of how it's always been. So the athletes that get financially the biggest support or have the most amount of money to spend on their machines, they will have the best machines. But one of the things that we really enjoyed was that we were overtaking in Hamburg a lot of people on very expensive bikes. A lot about the athlete, the engine on the bike. That's a lot of it. But of course, if you have deep pockets and you can afford to get expensive wheels and a light frame, it all helps, definitely.
So on an unrelated note, I saw your wetsuit hack, using the plastic bag over your foot so you can get into the wetsuit more easily. Where did you hear that?
So ages ago, I got into triathlon when I was 30. And when I went to a triathlon show in London and I was trying on a wetsuit for the first time. And I was in this tiny little cubicle and the spotlights were it's really hot. And the guy that was giving me the wetsuit then, he's like, if you use a plastic bag, you can, it slides over your feet a lot quicker. And I hadn't done it for a long time because I normally keep my socks on. So I normally keep my socks on, put my wetsuit on, and take them off and use them for my hands. But I was telling one of the athletes that I coach about using the bag trick to get the suit on faster. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to do a video about that. And it's been really popular. It's so simple. We take a plastic bag to put the suit in when it's wet anyway to take it home. So you just use it to get the suit on a bit faster.
It's I'm going to be using that trick next time.
It definitely works. That's the thing. It really works.
So you're also a sports therapist, as I mentioned at the top of the show, and you're a trainer and a coach. Was it your athletic aspirations that really guided your career path?
Kind of, and also being afraid of leaving university and not having an idea of what I wanted to do. So I went to university and did biomedical science, Bachelor of Science degree. And it just didn't inspire me. So I spent time and money being at university, or my parents' money being at university, and I came away feeling like I work in a gym. I really enjoy being around personal trainers. So the course that I wanted to study was a diploma in personal training, and it had like a taster of some sports massage. So I did it, and I really enjoyed it. So I thought, well, I could make that into a career. So I spent the next 20 years just studying sports therapy, training, personal training, triathlon coaching, run coaching, and yeah, love it.
Has your condition by any means influenced your path, like helped you narrow in, and has it changed your methodologies?
Yeah, it has. So the sports therapy, I can be hands-on, so it's about what I can feel, not what I can see. And obviously that will benefit me when I have less sight than I have now. It helps me be a better professional because I think I can feel better than people that are using their vision to do the job that I do. So that has definitely helped me, and my sight has guided that. I used to work in gyms, so I work from home now. So I work online. COVID's taught the world that we can work like this on a computer, talking face to face to people. I just stand one side and get other people to get hot and sweaty and lift weights and do cool things on their side. But the beauty of it is that I don't have to tidy up their mess when they've made it. And I don't have to worry about tripping over dumbbells, benches, things that are tricky. Gyms are not easy places for visually impaired and blind people. The dumbbells, the weights are black, the bars are black, the mats
Right.
are normally a black color, the benches are normally black, the weight plates, the machine, it's a lot of black, a lot of dull lights, a lot of moody lighting. Go in a spin studio, for example, you've got 50 bikes in a room, but it's like a nightclub, so you just get flashing lights, and it's not a great place for someone like me to be in. So I now work from home. Yeah, my massage couch is behind us, and I work online. So yeah, it's great.
So you've undoubtedly inspired others to try their hand at para-triathlon. Have you coached other para-triathletes?
So I have, although the interesting thing was, I was contacted by somebody to be coached, and then they realized that we're in the same category. So they don't want to be coached by someone they've got to race against. But I train several blind people, and yeah, it's great. But it's definitely something that I could do more of. And I think once I'm not spending so much time training and racing myself, I think that's something that I will look to kind of get into. But at the moment, I'm just enjoying being out there and helping inspire people just by doing it myself. I mean, we had a lot of messages from other partially sighted and blind people around the world that saw my video, the video that Iron Man posted of me and Ant getting in the water, for example. We had people at the race in Hamburg that contacted me and were inspired by it and want to get into it. I actually had a guy who uh, he is losing a lot of his sight. He's got 5 degrees of sight left, and he actually saw me in transition and was like, I need to meet this person. So T knows his name. I've done a video, I'm going to put it out today actually. And he's like, I'd just given up on triathlon as a sport, and then seeing you do what you're doing, I'm ready to sort of give para triathlon a go and get my tandem. And I've spoken to my triathlon club, and he's really excited by it. So I just enjoy that we can have that impact on people.
So I've also read that you like to support long-term performance. Um, with all the influencers now coming along and trying to do a couch to marathon or a couch to Ironman, would you, if the right person came along, would you be open to that?
Yeah, I mean the thing is that I coach runners and triathletes, and I coach two types of people. The first type is the people who come in and say, right, I've got a race in 6 months, I want you to help me do this. And then I also coach people who just want to be better runners and better triathletes, and I've coached them for years. And it's not just about one race for them; it's about progression over the long term. And that's where I am. Year on year, I just want to keep getting better. But I also train a few people that will come in a little bit like when I was a personal trainer at a gym, and you'd have someone saying, "I'm getting married in 4 months. I want you to make me lose like 3 dress sizes." So, right, I'll work with you, but it's high pressure. But the people that are really fun, the people that you train and coach over a long time, you build the relationship and you sort of journey along with them. This is great. But yeah, I take on both.
So you're also a content creator. You have a YouTube channel named Blind Focus. Do you want to share what your channel's goals are and what kind of content people can find there?
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to be like Logan Paul. That's what big. Because that'd be cool, wouldn't it? Just making videos all day. That'd be great. Where would I like it to go? I basically want to just help inspire as many people as I can while I'm able to do so. So yeah, it started off as a channel just charting my sort of journey with sight loss, and it's sort of starting to morph into some different things. So obviously the sport stuff is been really cool. The journey with Ironman through Hamburg, that's been pretty cool. So that's building a whole different story all of its own. So yeah, basically it's just that. It's just me being me, doing the stuff that I do, chucking out some stuff to help inspire people, throwing out some stuff that shows people how I do what I do. And yeah, that's it. So yeah, I've not done much on YouTube for the last couple of months because life's been crazy with Ironman, very expensive, very busy. So we've got some plans to start getting some more videos getting put out soon. So yeah, it's good.
You were recently on the BBC radio speaking about the RNIB and supporting their out of sight petition. Do you want to take a moment and share who they are, what their mission is, and maybe just a little bit about the out of sight petition?
Yes, so the RNIB, the Royal National Institute of Blind People, I think I've got that correct. They're the big national charity in the UK that support partially sighted and blind people. And their Out of Sight campaign is all about raising awareness of the fact that to this day, unless I've missed something, there's no regulation of when people receive their vision rehabilitation training. So what that means in the simplest way I can describe it is when you go to ophthalmology in this country, you go to the eye hospital and they tell you've lost your sight, you're severely sight impaired. What should then happen is that somebody from your local council should get notification that you've been defined as severely sight impaired. It used to be visually impaired and blind. So severely sight impaired basically means you're blind. So you still have sight left, but it's not enough usable sight for you to do your everyday life without help. So the support is from a vision rehabilitation specialist, and they will make contact and they will teach you how to live the most independent life you can. They will allow you to get access to groups, to other people that can help you. They can deliver cane training, so train you how to use a long cane. They can help you to get in touch with people to get free bus passes, find out schemes that will financially help you. And that's what they do. But unfortunately, that isn't happening for visually impaired people in the UK. So depending on where you live in the country, depends on what sort of vision rehabilitation you get and how long you're waiting for it. So me personally, in Norfolk, I was waiting a couple of months before my phone call to say, we'd like to offer you some help. But I spoke to people that live in the north of the UK, so some people from Leeds and Newcastle, and they've been waiting over a year just to get that initial phone call to say, we want to give you some help. And so what then starts happening is people, sort of fall away from society, feel
Mhm.
left out. They can't really work. It's very difficult to access social groups, affects your mental health, physical health. It's just not a good position for people to be put in. So the Out of Sight campaign is basically petitioning the government to take action to help people not be sat, with their life on pause, but actually say, you know what, the councils should be making contact with people after a month, say, or 2 months. We just want it to be regulated, and then people like the RNIB can look at it and say, well, actually, the councils are doing a good job at this, or they're failing people and we need to do better. But at the moment, it's not even regulated. So the Out of Sight petition was just to get government to take notice of it and hopefully start taking some action.
Well, I hope they do, because that's yeah, you don't want to ostracize people who are, yeah, that's I'm glad you're advocating for that. There's a lot of
Yeah,
people out there who are probably hurting and not leaving their house because of it, and they really need some help.
yeah, it's a tricky one because every disability has probably got the same level of issues. It just shows up differently. So I know accessibility is an issue for every disability. How can someone in a wheelchair access this building or this transportation? Blind people have a different kind of problem, and that's what the vision rehabilitation does for us. The thing with losing your sight is that I've been fortunate. I feel I've been fortunate to lose my sight little by little, so I've been able to get used to it. Whereas if you are sitting here now watching this, listening to this, and you suddenly close your eyes and think about, okay, how are you going to get home if you can't see to drive your car or ride your bike or get on the bus? How are you going to use your phone if you can't see stuff? When people start thinking like that, all of a sudden it's quite a scary place to be. So for those people to be left on their own, for me personally, I just don't like it. I think it feels quite sad that partially sighted and blind people have a lot to offer society, and if they haven't got the chance, it feels very sad. Life is short, and leaving them on pause just feels a bit mean to me. So
Absolutely. So you also advocate as an ambassador for several causes, Vision Norfolk, Purple, and I believe Outlaw Triathlon.
yeah,
Do you want to share a little bit about Vision Norfolk and
yes.
Purple?
Why? So yeah, so I was an ambassador for Outlaw last year. Outlaw Triathlon, the company in the UK that do triathlons, and for them it was, me being at their triathlon, it was just showcasing that people with disabilities can do sport, and I love that they've changed the system a little bit this year. So we've already done 2 races with Outlaw, and we're always welcome there. We always get a good reception. I just like the fact that we're out there doing, doing stuff that people maybe think we can't. I met a really nice couple, Lizzie, who's pushing her brother Chris in a wheelchair. She was towing him in a canoe on the water. Probably wasn't clear. It might have been a kayak. It was some sort of boat. She was carrying him in the swim, and then on the bike they have a trailer like it. So Chris is in the back and Lizzie's on her bike pulling him around, and then on the run she was running with him in a chair. They're brother and sister. Team Stuart Racing. They're great. So they were at Nottingham. So it was great to meet them. So it's just nice to see other people with disabilities getting into these races. So that's why I
Mhm.
enjoy, helping with that. Vision Norfolk, so I'm an ambassador for them. They're the local sight loss charity for people who live in Norfolk. So Norfolk is quite rural. It's out on the coast. It's very spread out. So you think about London, it's all quite compact. So it's big, but it's compact. there's good transport links, there's buses, tubes, trams, there's Uber. Yeah, there's lots of options in Norfolk. Norfolk is big. You know, some buses only run from one place to another once a day. You know, some places don't have train stations. There's a lot of elderly people with vision problems, so it creates problems. So Vision Norfolk support people in Norfolk, and as I live in Norwich, it was it made sense for me to support the people supporting the people around me. So that's it. I also do a lot of work with Retina UK, so they help people in the UK that have genetic retina diseases. So I keep myself quite busy.
So, Rob, what has your condition taught you?
Oh, tough question. That's a tough one. I would probably say it has taught me to just appreciate what you have. Sounds very, very cliche, but it's not until you start losing something you realize how precious it is. So, you know, while you've got your hearing, while you have your sight, while you have the ability to go and do things, I think appreciate that, because when you don't have it, you'll wish that you'd appreciate it much, much more. And that's kind of it for me. And just to not wait for anything, you know, literally just get on and do it. If you want to do something, go and do it, because you just don't know what's gonna happen.
And a follow-up one, how about what would you say to people that are going through a challenging moment in their life? What message would you give them?
It gets better. It does get better. You know, I've suffered a lot from my accident last year, and then losing, you know, a lot of people in quick succession. Yeah, life's really, really short, and so although it feels like it's the worst it can be, it will get better. You know, it always does. It always does. Time is very good. It may not feel like time doesn't heal everything, but you know, the worst days never last. You know, there's always hope. There's always something better coming up. And the other thing is not to be afraid to reach out for help, because you know, there's some things you shouldn't be working through by yourself, and actually reaching out and just getting someone's help is it's a big thing, and not a lot of people do it. Men particularly, we like to think we can deal with everything by ourselves, but actually just sharing it and talking it can really help.
Well, Rob, I've really enjoyed speaking with you today. You are the most positive person I think I've spoken to recently. Your attitude and personality are just beyond reproach. Good luck in all your future endeavors.
Yeah,
Next year's Hamburg Ironman,
absolutely.
and please stay in touch.
I will. Yeah, and Dan, thanks so much. I've really enjoyed this. I've done quite a few of these conversations with people, and yeah, I've really, really enjoyed this one. You did your homework. You brought up some stuff. I was thinking, how does he know that? He's done his research. So yeah, I appreciate the time that you've put in today, and obviously in your research up to it as well. It's
You're
good.
so welcome. Thank you. All right. Well, have a fantastic day, and
Thank you.
I will be in touch with you.
Man, that was awesome. Thank you so much.